All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Trigun Stampede, episode 8.
Vash is a plant.
Or he just opened his gate to connect with the plant.
Right, something plant-like is happening.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or there were never plants to begin with. They were actually fleshy aliens or evolved superhumans.
And plant is just what everybody call them.
Yeah, when they're in their like dormant state or something. Or when they're in like their, yes, we'll allow you to draw the energy straight from us until we fucking die.
Right, because you're just a power plant, right? You know, that's your purpose. That's what you're all about.
Basically, we have questions. We have lots of questions.
Yep.
There's a lot of things that could be implied here.
Sure.
And yet, none of them have enough roots to, build, something on top of.
Right, and let's just say that your job as a reporter will be a little difficult because the shit that's been happening is maybe so wild that nobody will believe you.
Or this is so important now that you actually tell this story because everybody needs to know that they've been lied to about a whole bunch of things regarding how we're here.
And how do you make it not just seem like a tabloid thing or something?
Sure. That's another big problem. But yeah, Vash is very important.
Just
very important now. So yeah, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. Oh, yeah. Wait, in a year, that's how old they look? Oh, yeah. Oh, they're different personalities, very much. Yeah.
See, he can laugh. Because everybody else is in cryo-freeze. And then...
Boom. Death.
Okay, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, so they're both plants.
Immediate aftermath, or... Oh.
Wait, what?
Vash.
Fuck.
Yeah, that like half frozen, half scorched state.
God. The nightmare.
Fun times.
Well, so if he's effectively an energy source, he never would need, like, anything, like, specific to sustain himself.
Right.
But they made a point in the beginning that, I was like, I don't need to eat food like Vash does.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
Good to know. Oh, shit.
What kind of a name is that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Well, a lot of humans did survive, so that's maybe what, they're kind of giving a little exposition as to why people did survive. And thus the slow...
Maybe this is how he was able to be a like semi-functioning person moving forward, is because he did actually have like a good upbringing even after everything was taken away.
Oh, okay, so he doesn't make anything. Okay. So that might have to do with his gate, that his gate never opened, so he was never able to make anything, generating stuff out of his plant physiology, whereas Nai was, and that could be...
Oh, sure.
Could be the metal or something that he would then use to... Well, he's gonna outlive all of you.
Yeah. You guys need it more than I do? Yeah.
Well... And he's held on to it all that time. Wow.
Okay. So does he just end up outlasting them from in here, maybe? Oh shit.
Oh shit.
So he's gonna hear all of them die one by one?
Okay. Okay.
So is he able to actually help?
Whoa. Whoa.
Oh shit. So he was able to basically like adapt it to the environment or something?
So I think what he makes is something to do with plants.
Sure.
Like he helps. That's why no one's ever been able to know what his thing is, because they don't, connect him with other plants in this regard. So So he's been making pilgrimages around the world
to sort of do maintenance,
trying to just keep all the plants, healthy. And then of course Chaos follows him, and then it looks like he's targeting plants, when actually it's Nai the one that's actually like doing that.
Well, and there's a part of me that wonders if they were originally designed to balance each other out in some way.
Okay. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so if he can talk to all of them.
Right, that's huge.
That's huge. What if the thing he creates is a voice? Or like a mental link?
Sure. Oh, so do they then start like sending him out to find other plants? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So he's kind of responsible for humanity being able to survive here.
Yes. While Nai is the destruction. I would say thematically they're definitely like, diametrically opposed, but of course, but
whether
I don't think
mechanically
they would have created mechanically with that in mind.
Even though he doesn't need it? Nice. Able to actually laugh.
Oh.
All right. Okay. Yeah, let's do it.
He's gonna carry them all with him forever.
Right.
Even if they're all long dead and gone.
Cool.
それブラックボックスじゃない。修復できなかったんでしょ。
当時はな。でも5年
5 years, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
やったぞ。
Oh.
バッシュと一緒にいるのは誰？
もう一人のインディペンデンスだろう。墜落で死んじゃいなかったんだ。やっぱりあいつは人間を仲間だと
Shit.
All right. And just like that.
俺たちをずっと裏切ってたんだよ。
He left it behind, yep. Well, that's a fun little promise in the story.
Yeah. He comes back.
みんなを僕は家族だと思ってる。だから嘘をつき続けるのは
That letter, that picture is mine, yeah.
向き合うべき時が来たんだと思う。インディペンデンスの責任はインディペンデンスが取る。
バシュに会ったら謝っといてくれ。ひでえこと言っちまった。
Nice.
自分で直接言って。必ず連れ戻すから。
Yeah, just go with her, man. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
So Nai's gonna screw it all up.
Yeah.
'Cause he is gonna find him. He can sense the voices of other plants. Like,
Right. Which is also a fun kind of retroactive way to make, like, to showcase how Nai finds him.
All right, let's see.
All dead. Okay.
It's all dead.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, the music coming in. Yeah. Cool. It wasn't. Yeah, he's thinking, there's plants here, and then he gets there and they're all dead. It's like, wait. One, shit, I'm too late. But two, then
And
what
whose
was I
voice-
sensing?
Yeah. Whose voice was that? Yeah.
Yep.
All
Okay.
right. So Trigun Stampede giving us a full backstory.
Yeah.
Now, it's not completely done here, but we get
Nope.
the full understanding as to Vash and Nai's situation. Not only are they both plants, they were born from a plant rather than being clones. So they do
Right.
grow,
Yep.
but they also have the longevity of the plants in general, but also all the traits effectively of the plants, in that plants are given specific generator kind of tasks or
Yeah.
functions. And so one of them could produce electricity. Some of them could produce, water or something like that.
Sure.
So
And
they are basically beings of magic, in that you could have one that could generate, actual like matter. And like,
Theoretically.
that's nuts for
Yeah.
one. But the idea that they could die if they're not being tended to properly, well, we don't know what that entails, but all we do know
Right.
is that Vash can actually like revitalize them,
Yeah. And so
which is nuts.
whether that's something where it's a they had the right of it, and it's this atmosphere or whatever, this environment is bad for them, and like
Yeah,
if
could be.
and then he comes along and basically gives them whatever they need to survive a bit longer. One, if that's the case, that's pretty crazy, but then two, that's fun, because then that's not something that will necessarily last, right? Like it's not like
It's
this
not
was
permanent touching and you're blessed forever.
yeah,
immortal.
exactly. It's not like it was some psychic attack from Nai and he was able to counteract it. No.
No.
It's just, this is entropy is a bitch,
Yep.
and here you go. This is how you deal with it. And so one of the things that I really liked about this backstory, since we had the initial bits of like what the dynamic was with Vash and Nai and all that stuff, we get the how did Vash truly survive, right?
Right.
But then also how did the human race survive by extension, right? Because Vash played a part in that.
And then
so,
it was, decades and decades and
Yep.
decades of time
Right, and
since they crashed.
and a lot of the ships were able to be salvaged to an extent where it's maybe because Nai wasn't directly overseeing their destruction or something like that.
Right, and also he's just, a single being.
Right,
he's not going to be going around the entire planet.
Yeah. Even if he, like, at that point was just, like, say, fucking with the programming or something, whoever would be maybe the management people on those ships could be like, oh shit, things are going haywire. Let me wake up people. Let me see if we can, engage some emergency stuff.
Right. And the other guy, Brad, basically brought up the point as to how some of those ships did survive. Like they have plants specifically for, providing their own gravity so that they don't basically just careen into the into the planet.
And so here we go.
Yeah.
I like that the suspicion of Vash kind of just started, right? Like even before the disasters followed in his wake and everything, right? This was kind of just one that's like, yeah, this is a shitty situation that all of them are in. And oh, hey, you're an other, right? So we're going to naturally be suspicious of you, And
he was hiding something. So their intuition was right in that he was actually scared and kept the secret of Nye all this time and lied about him being dead, which makes sense. But then it's immediately once they get the letter and then they kind of see the situation here, they're like, shit.
Right.
Okay, let's go find him and see what we can do. Well, unfortunately,
he's already gone.
Vash already found Nye, so it's
that too.
Even if they are looking for him, they could end up finding him and Nye together.
Right. We could get wonderful little double tap of tragic backstory. Your psycho sibling ends up killing your parental figures and all that stuff,
and chopping off your arm and what have you.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
All kinds of fun stuff that they're setting up here. I also like that this is kind of funny, but it almost feels like we're in a like a prequel kind of situation, just in general on like multiple levels, because one, he's got the red coat just kind of there.
Yeah, and it's
like, hey,
you know this.
This is the thing,
Right.
And then it's but not yet. So we're not still to the point where the story can begin. So we're still like prequel of a prequel.
And then also giving us the moment, which I believe was just straight up the present, of Vash waking up. He's got the arm, he's got the jacket, his arm has the cracks in it from, him trying to hold up the cannon and all that stuff. And now it's wait, am I back at home at that place?
Right.
Theoretically, he could be. And this is centuries later, and this is just one of the outposts that they go to or something.
He just helped the plant, so it's probably more that he passed out from having done that.
Right.
And
then they basically just take him somewhere. But the idea that regardless of whether or not this is actually that place, the fact that when Vash wakes up, even now, with however much time has passed, that's still where his mind goes. That's a great way to make it so that to give extra weight character-wise to the events that are happening here, even though they're going to be so far, in the past.
Yeah.
So I really like that, and that makes like all these little things to basically build my anticipation for getting the next half of this backstory that, on paper I would think would be a fairly done deal. Okay, this is going to end up in some kind of disaster as a result of Nye or something.
Yeah. That's exactly what's going to happen.
Right, that's exactly what's going to happen, yeah.
Yeah.
And yet there's all these other elements to keep me feeling kind of on my toes about it, and I like it.
Yeah, I also wanted to draw attention to the very first scene, because I think it's in some ways the most important one in this episode.
Yeah.
I don't think that the majority of this episode is actually that discussion worthy. I think most of it is kind of the two human characters kind of just reacting to Vash.
Right.
And they fill such prototypical, naturally antagonistic kind of archetypes that most of their dialogue is kind of a wash for me. But the scene in the beginning about where these two boys are different, we see this cold kind of look to Nye that I didn't really realize how different it was. Whereas Vash has like some warmth, some pink, some
wonder,
like some blood beating. No. Literally his skin is pale, deathly white versus pink with
pale and healthy. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's almost the idea that like Vash is participating in something that he doesn't like necessarily have to do as a plant, but this is something he's actively like wanting to engage in, and yet because Vash has to eat, maybe there's also that little bit of resentment. Like I just am trying to figure out Nye's motivation in this scene to see if there's anything that carries over that would make him want to kill all humans here. And I could see it as being this is the thing that divided my brother and I, you know. Or even then, the idea of just throwing shit away, just the way in which human beings waste such things on all this stuff.
We don't need this, it's a waste. Yeah, right. In my mind, when I look at that scene, it's less of the presence of things that would cause Nye to do what he did, and more of the lack of things that would stop him from doing what he did.
Yeah.
Like, he's disinterested, he's dispassionate, right? There isn't that kind of maniacal vindictiveness and, none cackling
of
it,
No, this is his first year. He was not born evil.
Right. And at most, or not at most. In fact, something that I would say is very important is you get to see him being able to actually connect with emotions in some way, even if it's in the I'm going to mess with Rem. He's doing it in a way that is like very harmless. It's the, oh, wait, you forgot the recording light. Made you look. That's a very natural kid thing to do, right? To be like, I'm going to see if I can mess with people, That, like, going towards the thing you're saying of, he wasn't born evil, right? So there's at some point something happened, whether it was that his desire to, oh, this is pointless, why waste things or whatever, got taken to some extreme and he just sees humans as some waste, or if it was something else, some external force or something like that, who knows.
I do see it potentially as being something with regards to the waste thing, because if Vash's whole point is that he just consumes and he doesn't produce anything, then Nye could see him as defective. But then by extension, he goes, wait a minute. But then the whole human race is defective. None of them produce anything.
Okay.
They are all net zeros. They're all net negatives in the fight against entropy. And then if he looks at this like an immortal would, he sees, oh, well,
let's just fix that.
I'm just gonna help entropy along, get rid of all these consumers.
Sure.
That could be it, because I'm really like wanting there to be a concrete motivation sometime before this season ends, and we're coming up like pretty quickly on the end, and
yes,
his actual motivation is still up in the air.
It's still up in the air, and the other thing that I would say is up in the air that I'm very curious about. There's potential implications with things that we've seen up until now, but given that we got Vash's. The effect of Vash's like plant ability.
Yeah,
basically.
whatever his gate is, yeah.
Yeah, of like being able to like help the plants directly when it's like, oh, he didn't seem to be able to do anything. What's Nye's?
Well, because Nye's is probably more straightforward, right? It's just like, I generate electricity, I generate water, I generate this, I generate gravity. He has something that is, he generates kinetic energy that he can manipulate in some way.
Sure.
It's in some ways irrelevant, I would say, until we know what his motivation is, because unless it's directly in service of that, like...
Well, I think... I don't know if it would necessarily be directly in service of his like motivation per se, but as far as like maybe getting at their temperament, kind of. If Vash is the one that basically brings life, right? He... personality-wise, he is vibrant and full of life, right? That's, like he very much displays that very clearly.
Yeah.
And then that's what he brings to the plants mechanically. Whereas with Nye, we see kind of the opposite of that, right?
Yes, but that doesn't mean he brings death. There'd be no functional reason for him to bring death.
Right. But if it's something where... I believe Rem also didn't have an understanding that Vash actually created something, right? Like
when does he create anything? Like
no, he helps the plants later, right?
Well, yeah,
but she wasn't aware of that. So, like, if this is something where maybe this is some kind of crazy experimental technology, or it's above her pay grade, she's just raising them or something like that, who knows? There could be some way in which basically maybe both of them, because they are different from the plants in the fact that they were born, the fact that they look human and all that stuff, they could theoretically be different also in the things that they produce, and so they don't think Vash produces anything. And so then maybe Nye's could be of a similar kind of esoteric nature. And if that's the case, I'm very curious what it would be.
Yeah. I also think there's a very real possibility that he might also not produce anything, just in the same likelihood that, except Vash needs to consume. Nye could just be sustaining himself. He just is immortal. You know, he produces his own energy that makes it enough so that he'll never die or something.
Maybe I got an incorrect reading off of the subtitles or something, you know, or like missed some bit. But I believe it was the implication was that neither of them actually need to eat. It's just that Vash really likes to eat. And
okay, so no. They say, "Come on, let's eat already." I don't have to eat like Vash does.
Okay.
Vash does have to eat. That is the functional, like, that is the sentence there.
Yeah, that's not a, like...
There's no other room for interpretation there. He even mentions it again later. You know, and this is such a waste. And he's like, what she's saying is it doesn't matter whether you eat it or not, because this is a symbolic thing.
Right.
Just making sure everybody gets a share.
Right. You still get a birthday cake. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Later on, when they're talking about them being plants and stuff, he ends up talking about, you know, I'm useless, basically. All I do is just eat, drink, and sleep. Like, I don't do anything.
Right.
Right.
Like a human. Yeah. Right. They are actually sustaining him and, like, giving him food and stuff.
Yeah. And basically, he knows that if he doesn't eat, he will die. Right. That's why he doesn't eat.
Because he wants to die. Yeah.
So because he has to eat. Cool. For him, I think the part that's interesting is that we know this part being specifically different. Nye doesn't need to eat.
Right.
But he has the same physiological appearance as Vash, which means on some level, whatever he creates might has a chance of actually solving that problem.
Sure.
And so my thought is that Nye's thing is he's realizing, like, I will never die. Like, I have something that I create that is enough that it sustains me. So I don't need to sleep. I don't need to eat. I don't need to drink. I'm perfect. Like,
right. He is able to benefit from the thing that he creates, whereas Vash doesn't.
Right. Vash, there you go. That's the thing you could go at it. It's
Vash gives versus Nye takes.
Right. The idea of greed versus, you know, selflessness. The idea of someone hoarding power versus someone giving it away.
Right. And so that's why it's important that basically in this case, Vash is, one, yes, fed food, but also, like, you know, his soul is fed, right? He is having the people that come along and care for him.
Right.
And basically, you know, help feed his humanity, basically. And then, oh, hey, he's able to come along and then save these other people, these plants that nobody else is able to reach.
If we want to go into crazy theories, and this is a bit stereotypical, tropey kind of thing here.
Sure.
The thing that would make Nye not have to go into the details as to what he creates, but more the point as to what he would want with all the plants, because that's his thing, is that he's just eating them.
Oh, sure.
And he's just gaining all their powers.
And that's why they're all dead when Vash gets to the ship.
Yeah.
Maybe there were a bunch of them, and then
he's
Nye also
them.
heard of it, and he's like, yeah, those look tasty. You know?
Those can do what? Okay, cool. Now I can do all those things.
Oh, I realized I eat too. I just eat different.
Yeah,
things.
exactly.
Yeah,
right. And that would make him the terrifying being where he has all this limitless power and stuff. It's because he's doing all the things at once, you know.
You're right.
And, you know, Vash, of course, would be the ultimate one to put alongside him once he eventually realizes what Vash can do, and he probably finds that out over the course of his journey.
Oh, sure, because
and that you're like, now you should come back to me and sustain me, keep me going. You know?
and that could even theoretically be the way in which, you know, there was the possibility of this not needing to happen, in that if they're always like a pair like that, right? He just sort of sustains himself off of Vash. Right, and it doesn't have to be as some hostile takeover thing or subjugation or whatever. It's just cool, that part, the part where we would sustain ourselves, because we're twins. You sort of got my share of that, you know, and so now that's just sort of how we be, and there we go. Oh, hey, I don't have you. Guess I have to, and then that could be sort of the hostage situation of you need to be by my side, right. Otherwise, I will be forced to, consume. Yeah.
But I love that here we see rather quickly, immediately, that Nye is actively gathering people.
Yep.
He's not working alone.
Nope.
He's able to kind of reach some kind of communal kind of understanding enough with other humans.
Right.
Which is terrifying, to say the least, because I don't think that it's very likely that if you just chanced upon a person like that, that you'd go, oh, so, if he's telling the truth, basically, like, oh yeah, we're going to wipe out the rest of humanity and I'm going to make you all into, I don't know, like me,
I could see a couple ways in which, one, your situation is dire enough that you're like, okay, well, even if it's a horrible thing, whatever, or it's doomed to have him kill me eventually, that's 20 years down the line, or maybe even my descendants, right? Like this guy lives for so long, and so I'm desperate. Hey, here's a powerful person that's security for a bit, right?
Yes, yeah, that's a good point.
On top of any other potential things of come join me in my ascendancy or something like that. Yeah,
but all right. Next episode, y'all, let's find out some answers. But Thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You get on early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all of this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general. And also be sure to check out our Twitch channel. So yeah, if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.